Presenting the one and only Fools to World podcast.
So this is episode 0 of the Fools to World podcast. The one speaking right now is the most honorable Kevin Cole. We've also got Stasha Blank.
That's me.
And Chog the Hogue.
Yes, that would be me.
What he goes by on the interweb.
On occasion, yes.
He's also sometimes known as Christopher.
That's just boring.
You know, his actual name.
Yeah, his actual name. Alright, so today we will try to talk about Persona. And by Persona, only the games that everyone plays, 3, 4, and 5, because the other 2 don't exist.
That's right. We're not talking about 1 or 2. That's some regular Shin Megami Tensei shit.
It's because we're fucking normies, okay? Alright, so the Persona series. Why we like it, what we like about it. Okay, those are kind of the same thing. Why we love Atlus as a studio, where they can go from here, especially with fucking Katsura Hoshino, is that the name?
The director.
Yeah. So now he's off the Persona, but off doing his own IP within Atlus, just not Persona.
And that is Project Re-Fantasy.
And not only is that an exciting undertaking in itself, but it also brings up an uncertain yet exciting future of Persona. Speculation. Alright, so Stasha and I are the only ones who've played 3, 4, and 5, whereas Chris only played
half of 4 and all 5.
Half of 4?
Only half of 4?
Wait, what?
We're learning this now? Oh, God.
I'm sure I've told you a couple of times.
Wait, so, was it the beginning half or the latter?
Yeah, the beginning half.
No, he started halfway in and then finished it.
No, he, played the first quarter, then played the final quarter.
And skip all the in-between exposition. Who needs it, right?
He has 0 patience.
I've watched the anime, both of them. I think I've got a good enough idea of it.
Well, that does give you a decent summary.
I think.
Fucking Normie, get off my lawn.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to leave now.
Well,
okay.
Alright. So should we start with a game in particular, or should we talk about Atlus? What would be a good launching point?
So, alright. Let's go through. I think chronological order will be a pretty logical way to do this.
Okay.
Just because why the fuck not? Okay.
Sure.
Persona 3. So, in my experience with the game, this was my first diving in experience in the franchise, because I was in high school with these fucks, and they would just talk about Persona all the time, and I'd be like, what the fuck is Persona? And they're like, you wouldn't mind about it. But then they were like, okay, seriously, you should try this out. And then I did, and then it took over my life during spring break in my junior year of high school. Yeah, it took over my winter break. That was all I played. But then I just stopped halfway through because I burned myself out. I would just I would level up every party member up to the same level,
Yeah,
even though what you Yeah, even though what you usually do is that you just stick with a party and leave who you don't want on the wayside. But I was like, no, everyone's in this together. And it was probably the worst gaming decision I've ever made, ever.
Persona 3 is the most tedious out of all of them. Like, the dungeon crawling in that game is a
Yeah, Tartarus. Yeah, Tartarus. That, like, some people like it and some people fucking hate it.
I mean, if you haven't played the game, Tartarus is basically a 254 dungeon that is just filled. Like, each floor is just a randomly generated stage, and it could take you anywhere from like 10 minutes to maybe like 30 to clear a floor, and so it's just a super long time.
Reminds me of Dark Cloud, which is a game for the PS2. They have after you beat the game, you have like this tower where you have to go through 100 randomly generated floors to get to the final boss.
Yeah, that's kind of the same deal. So yeah, I played like halfway through Persona 3, burned myself out, haven't touched the franchise for a while, then got myself, it was last year, I think last year, yeah, that was when I delved into Persona 4 by emulating the PS2 version on my laptop. Had the time of my life. I cried at the ending.
Didn't we all?
Most fulfilling experience I've ever had in the game medium, and it was amazing. And then once that was over, I went back to Persona 3 with Stasha's New Game Plus file because I was a loser. I didn't have the balls to go through an entire run.
That's right, I gave them to you.
From square one, I just sped through it, and it was a damn good game as well. Damn good game.
I was a fucking masochist because I played through Persona 3 like 3 or 4 times. I even played the portable version. The save file wouldn't carry over, so.
Oh shit!
There was a lot of dungeon crawling to be done.
So how did you get into the Persona franchise, Stasha? That's probably a good way to start this off, but yeah.
Yeah, sure. I mean, so I'd never heard of Persona. I don't think I ever played a JRPG in my life. So
Pokemon probably counts. Have you played?
Yeah, I
Were
played
you into Pokemon?
I played a couple of the Pokemon games of the early ones, so I guess that does count. But like,
that's like really mainstream, though.
Exactly. Like, I mean, it is a Japanese RPG, but at the same time, it's also a big part of American culture. So it's not really a big surprise that.
Yeah, Pokemon can be another topic in itself because it's such a huge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Media franchise.
It really is.
Okay, yeah.
I'm surprised they still have it going, honestly.
Yeah,
Wait,
it survived this long.
Huh.
Wait, you didn't know it was still going?
I know it's still going. It's just that I haven't really thought about it ending, I guess.
It doesn't end. They just replace a couple of the characters and then continue on to another island in the same world with a new set of gym leaders.
Yeah, they can keep it going forever.
I suppose so, yeah. But yeah. So actually, the possible fourth member of this podcast, who's yet to be unannounced, was the one to introduce me to the game series. So he was so this was one of my friends in high school.
He was all of our friends.
Yeah, he was in our friend group.
This podcast is we are all high school friends.
Exactly.
It's the common thread.
Pretty boring. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was the one. He actually started with, I think it was Persona 3. He may have watched Persona 4, and then played the third one.
So he started with the anime?
No, so he watched somebody play through 4. Like, he was really into endurance runs at the time, which was basically just somebody running through the whole game, or a really long game, just playing all the way through it.
Okay.
And I think he watched an endurance run of Persona 4, and then he got the third one for the PS3, I believe. And I was over at his house one day, and he showed me the game. And I mean, like, he showed me Tartarus, so it didn't look like a whole bunch of fun because it's like an older style game, and the graphics aren't amazing. So I was like, okay, I mean, this is kind of cool, but I have no idea what's going on. I don't know what any of the words mean because battling with the magical spells is like, what the fuck is this? If you've never seen it before.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was kind of weird, and I was like, okay, I'm intrigued, but I'm not sure if I'd really like this. But so I went back to my house, and I just kind of thought about it, and I asked him, like, well, which one should I start with if I was going to play it, like 3 or 4? He said, 4 is probably a good idea. I mean, 3 is good, but 4 is a better starting off point. So
I'd agree with that. With that.
Probably true.
You haven't played 3.
I mean,
I know enough.
I think it is true because 4 is 4 was made. I think it was like a year after 3, so it was still like the same graphic style, but the theme is a little bit more approachable, which is the theme of friendship. And I don't know, the game.
Also, you're able to control your own party members.
That too, like battle itself was a lot better, and even though Persona 4 was grindy, it was not nearly as grindy as Persona
Not nearly
3.
as grindy, not nearly.
So it was a much more, I think it definitely is a better, sort of entry point into the series. And so I just went out and I bought the the PS2 version of Persona 4, and because I had a PS2 and I just hooked it up. It had been like collecting dust in a closet for 3 years, but.
And when was this? Like.
This was probably, I think, either
freshman year in high school or something like that.
Sophomore, yeah, I think it was sophomore year in high school.
Gotcha.
And yeah, I started that shit up. I didn't know what to expect, but the game looked cool. And for the next month, I just basically sank into that game. Like every single free moment that I had, I'd get off from school and I'd go home and I'd play Persona.
I know that feeling.
We all know that feeling. Everyone who plays Persona knows that feeling.
Yeah, like you just get sucked into it, and so yeah, I played like all the way through Persona 4, and at that point, like basically after playing the game for like 2 hours, I was 100% sold on the series, and from then on, it was just playing it as much as I could.
What about the teammate AI in 3? Like, you have no manual control over them.
Well, you were able to give out like general tactics such as like try to knock down all the enemies you could, try and conserve your spirit points. SP is spirit points, right?
I'm pretty sure it is spirit points.
Yeah, your magic points that you use to cast
it
spells.
All means the same thing. MP, mana, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, you can like commit. You can like tell your like individual squad teammates to like either knock down your enemies, conserve magic points, heal / support. Very general stuff. It wasn't infallible, but it did a good enough job. It's just that I think a lot of people are control freaks. Like me.
I don't know.
And they like being able to just control the players how they see fit.
I think, sometimes, I mean, it would be really annoying when you were in a big battle and one of your teammates did something stupid.
Yeah.
Because it didn't, it didn't happen often, but it would be like for example, the AI worked so that if you revealed a weakness or a block, or a repel. So, like, for example, if an enemy was averse to fire attacks, and you figured that out, then the AI would know that. And then, so if you fought that enemy again, or even after you revealed it, they wouldn't do it again. So they were smart in that respect. But, like, let's say, so, like, some of the times you would be fighting, like, a big boss, and, maybe you weren't 100% prepared for it, or maybe it was really tough, and you'd die. But so, like, even if you discovered, like, for example, that this boss repelled ice attacks, that, the next time that you started it and we're fighting the boss, Mitsuru would just fucking ice it and then die from it. So, I mean, that respect, the AI in that respect was not wonderful. But for the most part, it did an okay job.
So, Chris, how did you get into the Persona franchise?
That's a difficult question because I can't remember, honestly. I think it was one of you guys that brought it to my attention, honestly.
You definitely got into it before I did.
Are you sure? I'm not
I think
100%
so.
sure, to be honest.
High school is a giant blur for me.
It's a giant yeah.
I'm pretty sure it might have been like Stasha. Could have been Stasha. He is
think
one
it was
of you
me?
guys. I'm pretty sure. Could have been James, maybe.
Do you remember when you played it?
Whew, it was like junior year, maybe. I played through half the game on a PS2 emulator. And then I just kind of stopped playing for a while. And I kept on meaning to play more, but I never did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, plus it's a really long game, so if you don't have the time for it, it's kind of like you kind of just have to put it on the back burner for a while.
So Stasha and I are the ones in this podcast right now with the most experience with Persona 3.
Yep.
As no saying that's because Chris hasn't played it at all.
That would be correct.
So basically, Persona 3, how do you think it compares to like the rest of the Persona games, Stasha?
I think it has probably Persona 3 is the game that impacted me the most in terms of like the story and the ending, because
the ending just fucks you up.
it's so sad. I mean, I'm not going to spoil it, but like it's so dramatic, and it's so everything about that game kind of makes sense, at least to me, in terms of the story. So it doesn't have the best graphics out of the series. That's 100% for sure.
Well, I mean, you can't really blame it too much since it's just an older game.
No, and yeah, that's true. It's kind of hard to compare them that way, but like 3 for me definitely had like the largest impact. And even going back and watching like the movies,
yeah,
really nice.
The movies are a treat. Yeah.
I would definitely recommend playing it. I'd say don't start with Persona 3, but if you get the chance, definitely play it. Probably after 4. But yeah. So what about you, Kevin? Like, how do you think it stacks up against the other two?
I view Persona 3 in probably the most least positive out of the 3 because I fucked up majorly in how I played it by only going halfway through my first time, then just using your new game plus file to cruise through it. So it's fair to say that I didn't get the intended experience Atlas wanted me to experience for Persona 3. So unfortunately, I can't really say that much about it. I really have to go through it actually and play it like how they really wanted me to play it. The thing that stands out, let's see, let's see. I guess is best girl. She's a robot, but I'll fuck that robot.
Wow. All right.
That's a strong opinion there.
I didn't think it would be Igus. I didn't think that would be
do you think? I bet you thought it was gonna be Yukari.
I mean, I don't know about Yukari, but like Igus?
No, wait. Who did you think that? By that, I thought you meant that I had like someone else in mind for a Persona 3 waifu.
Okay. I'll be honest.
It was the dog.
Yes, the dog. I wouldn't have been able to predict it. I mean, I know your waifu for Persona 4, but for 3, I don't know. But I didn't think it was going to be Aigis.
There wasn't honestly that many strong. Let's see. You had Yukari, you had Mitsuru, you had Aigis, you had fucking
Fuka?
fucking Fuka.
You had like
Just
people.
shut the fuck up, Fuka.
You didn't even say that much.
Oh my god.
There were a couple girls in school.
Yeah, Chihiro and fucking.
Oh, the mean girl. What was her name?
Wait.
I think she had the Moon Arcana. So.
Wait. I think that's Persona 4.
You're probably right.
Yeah, it's on my eye. There was the fucking kendo manager chick.
Yeah.
She was one of the girls. I thought it was funny how like in Persona 3 whenever you got your social links up to a certain level with a female character, you had to go through like a waifu arc with them.
That's right. There was mandatory dating in Persona 3.
And I did not know that was how it worked. So I would just talk to Chihiro because she was actually my first. I don't know. At that stage of the game, she was like, okay, she's pretty cute. I'll wife her.
Uh-huh.
And then I started talking to a chocolate chick. Chocolate chick because that's the color of her skin.
I think you're talking about Yuko, right? She was
Yuko. Okay, Yuko.
She was the manager of the sports team.
Yeah, Yuko. Then I started talking to her. Then all of a sudden, fucking Chihiro's social link was reversed, and I was like, "What the fuck? What the fuck? I can't talk to other people now. Is that how it is?"
Did I ever tell you about the convoluted system that they put in place to account for that? So it
was even more convoluted how to find a way across it, right? You had to like have it charted out.
I mean,
exactly.
If you followed their social links separately, then it wasn't a big deal. But if you were dating two or more at the same time, there was this whole convoluted system in Persona 3 where after you finished a date, the game would give you 60 in-game days, and so before it reached that endpoint, you had to spend time with them again. Otherwise, the social link would get reversed. And if you spent time with somebody else, like another love interest, I think even if you weren't dating them, the counter would subtract 15 days. So you had to manage it so that you weren't spending time with any one particular girl too much, because otherwise you would reverse the link. And if you don't know, if you haven't played Persona 3, you have to manage your time so carefully. Like to max all of your social links, you basically have to play it perfectly. There's really no room for error, minus 3 or 4 days. So a reverse social link was basically the end for you.
It's kind of like that in Persona 4 as well.
That's true.
Even in New Game Plus, I wasn't able to max out all the social links. I got close. I got real close, but even then, I was still unable to max it out.
Yeah,
Persona 5 gave you quite a bit of
Persona 5 was super forgiving, and I love it.
I think they must have given you 20 extra days or something, maybe even a month. So
yeah, Persona 5 was super forgiving.
It definitely was.
But let's see. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I'm so mad. I can't really say much about Persona 3. I just have to go back and play through it one more time.
I mean, I definitely recommend it. It's to me, it would be worth it. I want to play through it again. So.
Yeah. All right. I guess let's move on to Persona 4 so that Chris can actually
join in and
half join. Half join. He won't be. He can fully contribute once we get to the final part of this podcast.
Oh yeah, we shouldn't spoil the ending for Chris at 4.
A 4?
So we should only talk through like half the game.
Oh my god.
Jeez, I don't think I care that much.
Well,
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
should we start with Chris then?
Okay, yeah, let's start with what Chris has to say about the game.
Okay, so let's see. I think I played all the way through to the creepy stalker kid with the mole on his face.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Up to his TV world area.
Yeah, the arcade, the RPG dungeon, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's where
Mitsuo,
that's where I left
that's
off.
his name, yeah.
Really, he's quite creepy.
You left off at that?
Yeah. Is that not halfway? Is that less than halfway?
I mean, that was kind of a point of the story where you're like, I just felt like you kind of had to keep playing, but that's just me.
Really, I don't know why I stopped playing, honestly. But I remember when I was playing, there was I went back to one of the old dungeons to train up before going to one of the newer ones, and I didn't know about the whole. There's like a new boss in the final dungeon area. That, where you fought the original boss, but now there's like the Lay's guy there, the potato chip looking guy.
Oh, him. He was amazing.
Yeah, he absolutely wrecked me, and I lost like quite a bit of time on my save. Was not expecting that. Honestly, though, I can't really make much of a comment on the rest of the game because I can't remember.
God damn it!
Well, what about the initial part of the game? The parts that you did play?
Well, I remember Yukiko, there was like one part where they gave you the choice to make like a flirtatious comment, but as soon as I chose that, it decided that I couldn't do that because I didn't have enough courage.
That's right.
Yeah, that's for New Game Plus, man.
It was disappointing.
They must have put those in intentionally, like, nobody will ever be able to get this in the first playthrough. They'll have to play it.
Yeah, definitely.
Can't really think of much else.
Alright, okay, my turn up to plate. Persona fucking 4. First Persona game I fully played through. Wonderful game. The characters, some people like to knock them because like people would be like, there's no way that those group of friends can be that happy all the time, but it's so happy and I love it. Fuck the haters. The characters are definitely the highlight of the game for me because it did a good job of feeling like you were part of the investigation team in my eyes. You were able to connect with the characters through their social links and through the story in itself. It has like a much. In Persona 5, there really isn't much of a slice of life part in the story. There aren't really many moments of levity compared to Persona 4. Pretty much everything has to do with being a phantom thief and the advancement of the story. But in Persona 4, there were like you went on the class trip, you would just hang out at fucking Junes. You would just act like regular teenagers, and it was great. It was amazing.
Every day's great at your Junes.
The characters were the highlight of the game for me, and the characters were why when you leave your friends on the train and they're like, don't go, and I'm like, I don't want to go. And you're just a sobbing mess, and it's amazing. Your thoughts, Dasha?
I mean, the game as a whole was very cozy, I feel like.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. It seems to be the most it seems to be the least, I'd say, dark of the three, perhaps.
Well,
Because Persona 3 is definitely the darkest,
for sure.
the darkest theme. Because the whole theme of it is death and all. Persona 4 was friendship, and Persona 5 was rebellion and freedom. I'd say I think I'll argue that Persona 5 is a little darker than Persona 4. Though it can be argued either way, I guess.
I mean, I would agree with that. So I feel like, it's interesting because you have what I feel like is a super large juxtaposition in Persona 4, where you've got like these characters who are bonding and kind of living out, their high school lives in a really kind of normal way. But at the same time, it's a small town, and there's this there are these serial murders happening. So like you've got like happy-go-lucky, like, you're in class or you're on a field trip or whatever, but then, the next second you're looking at somebody hanging from an antenna. And it's like, even though the game itself, like, it doesn't focus on the darkness, it's like all the dark elements from 3 and even 5 are like present, even though that's not the focus. So I feel like it's not the darkest title, but it's not super lighthearted.
Yeah.
Hey, that teacher deserved it.
Because, in fact, all the Persona games, and by all the Persona games we're talking about, 3, 4, and 5, they all pretty much follow the same exact plot structure, where you just get introduced to the world you're living in, you get to know a few characters, then you gain your party members, and then there comes a point where shit hits the fan, shit gets super serious.
And you fight a god.
Yeah, you literally fight a god. Yeah, that's literally the plot structure of all the Persona games.
Sounds about right. And then people who play the Shin Megami Tensei series will tell you that, the Persona games are like nothing, and how all the other Shin Megami games are so much better.
Though I haven't played a mainline SMT game, but I would think that Persona and mainline SMT are like apples and oranges, honestly.
Well, the interesting thing, what I've heard, so I haven't played mainline SMT games either. What I've been told is that Persona and SMT share the same universe. Persona is like normal world, but there's mystical elements, and SMT is like shit already hit the fan, and you're living in like a post-apocalyptic world where demons are on the surface. So it's kind of I don't know if you can compare them in that way, but it's like they're all in the same vein.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Well, here we go.
What was that awkward silence there? Huh?
We were doing so well.
End the podcast now. Okay, so we were talking about fucking I don't even know.
Well, so we were talking about 4.
I don't even remember what we were talking about when Chris brought up Shin Megami Tensei. Oh yeah, we were talking about the story structure of the games. So like all the games follow the same plot structure, but they manage to feel fresh and new with each different iteration. A lot of that has to do with the characters and the overall themes of each story. Plus the stories can, even though the structure, the plot structures follow the same pattern, what happens are like widely different, because like in Persona 4, it's a murder mystery. Persona 5, you are what? It's you are a high school student by day, but a phantom thief by night kind of deal, and you're trying to pretty much reform society from the ground up. And Persona 3, you're trying. It's kind of like another mystery kind of deal where you're trying to figure out what the hell is up with this dark hour in which the school turns into Tartarus. So, like, what happens in each game is like wildly different, but they all follow kind of like a set pattern.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get old. I fucking love it. Persona forever.
Yeah,
I gotta say, shooting God in the face is pretty satisfying.
So you play? Have you You're saying you played those games?
I've played half of 4. I can't really say I know much about the unique endings of each of the games, other than
So
5.
there's another game you played half of.
Not really.
Jesus Christ. So, let's see. So, one thing that, in Persona 4, there's like the issue of the main villain. And like some people don't really think he's a strong villain because literally his motive for doing what he does is he's doing it for the lulz. That's pretty much his motivation.
I mean, that's true, but like, I think you're actually the one who shared the post. That kind of elaborated on that, right? Adachi.
Was that me?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did that.
I think so, but
yeah.
The essence of that argument is just kind of that he's kind of suffering from boredom, I guess I would say. It's just like there's nothing to do in the quote sticks or the small town, kind of setting, and I think he just kind of loses himself in the fact that his job sucks. There's nothing for him to do.
It's probably the most interesting thing that's happened to his entire life.
Well, right.
Yeah,
like
true.
He discovers this new power, and it's kind of, and that's why I think the protagonist, or as we can call him, you, is so similar to Adachi because they had the same awakening. They don't share the exact same power, but it's kind of the same deal where it's like, okay, here's this brand new world for you. Here's this brand new power. What are you gonna do with it? Are you gonna, basically, are you gonna use it for good or are you gonna use it for evil? And so Adachi was the one who just kind of said, well, fuck it, I'm gonna do whatever I feel like.
Yeah.
And you is the one who's like, okay, well, I'm gonna be responsible about it. So I think you can kind of see them in the same light, but they started off at the same point and they branched off to their own separate.
Yeah. Though it's not like you, like, once you receive the power, it's like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna do this and save kittens and shit like that. It's just that he was thrust into this situation that he had no idea what the fuck was going on. And he's like, okay, I guess I'm gonna just use this power to figure out what the fuck is going on.
Well, and that's true. And I mean, I think that's kind of the point that Persona 4 was trying to make, is that, like, through the bonds or the friendships that you create, you started with the power, but immediately he was, sort of wrapped up in, like, this group of friends. So, like, he had people to rely on and to relate to. So, he ended up being able to take the path of good. And Adachi is kind of alone the whole time. I mean, he has Dojima, but they don't, they're not, like, friends. They just kind of get along as work buddies. So...
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the point, is Adachi was alone, and that's what happened. And you had friends, and so he took a different path.
Yeah, true. All right, should we move on to Persona 5?
I mean, I'm cool with that, but
All right. So we can go back to the other games, but it's just that once we I don't know, just gave our first impressions of each game, we can just go back and talk about the franchise as a whole. Maybe
Sure.
we can do that. So, okay, Persona 5, now we can all fully talk about the game. And it's the best thing that ever came into existence, no exaggeration.
Oh my god. I waited for that game for 5 or 6 years, dude. I
We all
remember
did.
the first announcement. Winter 2013 or 2014, whatever it was.
We were fucking...
Such a lie.
We were sophomores in high school.
Yes, we were.
That's crazy. We're fucking... Well, Stash and I, we're fucking juniors in college right now. And Chris, well, he's the same age as us, but he had...
Freshman.
Yeah, he started late. But and the wait was well damn worth it. Atlas blessed us all with this work of art that from the first time we saw the start menus.
Oh, it's so stylish.
So stylish. We were fully on board and just rode the train to the very end.
I learned that I secretly want to be a Phantom Thief.
that was your takeaway from the game?
Yes.
Not gonna lie, when I finished the game and I was having the Persona 5 blues, I was thinking what will my fucking code name be? And I was I did not reach a conclusion, just saying, but it got me thinking. A general of thumb though is that it has to be 1 or 2 syllables. No more. It's got to be short and to the point.
You can't have a long code name. It just gets in the way.
Yeah, you just can't. It just gets in the way, yeah. But when you look at Persona 5 and compare it to its predecessors, immediately you can tell that, the direction that Atlas took, part of it has to do is that, it was released later and that technology was able to keep up with their ambitions, but who damn, the style in that game is impeccable.
It sure is.
Just I love the color scheme of black and red. That's probably one of my favorite color combinations.
It is very
ever.
stylish.
And not only that, they also use the Catherine engine for Persona 5, whereas in Persona 3 and Persona 4, wherever you moved around, it just felt like you were moving around in separate, disconnected rooms, in a sense. Whereas in Persona 5, it actually felt like you were in this living, breathing world, and they did it in Tokyo. So you were able to walk through downtown and take the trains, and the world felt very alive, and it only served to assist in how great the game was.
Yeah, it was quite realistic, honestly. You're walking through the streets and it feels like you're actually there.
Yeah, I've seen pictures online on Twitter of people in fucking downtown. There were pictures of where Yoshida was, the politician.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a picture of where the art team used it for reference, and that was really cool.
Well, Chris has been to Japan, right?
Yeah. I'd say it's pretty I wasn't in Tokyo or anything, but it was very similar. It's definitely very similar. The street signs, all the alleyways, and just the general city feel of Japan.
Yeah. So in ways that we can definitely say that Persona 5 improves is definitely the dungeon crawling and the combat and the presentation. Those are like... I'm not really a fan of saying that objectivity is a thing, but I'd like to say that it's pretty universal to think that those three, Persona 5 is superior compared to the previous two. Because combat is a fucking joy in Persona 5. Just the way the battle is framed and how you're able to strike a weakness, then do a baton pass. I love doing baton
The
passes.
baton passes are the greatest.
So
Yeah.
Especially when you
satisfying.
can pull off like a 3-person one.
In the Okamura boss battle, where he sends you his armada of robot slaves, and you strike weakness after weakness, and you get a baton pass after baton pass, and you end it with Yusuke, and he does his ultimate power up blow, and it's just so awesome.
Using baton pass in that one was that was great. And I love the character
Yeah.
portraits that each of the characters have.
Yeah.
That was one of the things in 5. Like, in 4, there were a lot of moments where combat felt satisfying. Like, you get to a point you're just like, oh, this is really good. But then in 5, like, pretty much all of the combat was satisfying. Like, unless you were fighting the same enemy like a zillion times, it all felt really good. Control-wise and, like,
yeah.
visually.
Yeah, and, like, the controls, like, each button had a specific thing to do. Like, this isn't the exact key mapping, but, like, fucking X would be, like, shoot your gun, circle would be summon your persona, triangle would be open your item menus. Whereas in Persona 4, you had to, like, go through a menu and select which thing you wanted to do. And it might sound pretty minor, but just having each individual key do something, it makes combat have this super satisfying flow to it.
Yeah, it was definitely very fluid.
And it feels like a dance, honestly. You just go bam, 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 and you just kill your enemies dead.
It was fun to time it with the music. Like, sometimes I'd find myself doing that.
You just you do an all-out attack, and you time it with the "You'll never see it coming."
Yeah, dude, that shit was the best.
Yeah, so combat is fucking phenomenal. A lot of it has to do with the controls, the addition of the baton pass, just how badass the characters and the personas look when you're doing out damage. And the music, I just love fucking sneaking up on enemies, and then you tear off the mask off of the shadows, and you just hear Last Surprise kick in, and you just jam out.
Although,
Yeah.
admittedly, they could have added more than one soundtrack for the battle.
That's very true. As much as I love Last Surprise, it can get a little tiring.
They did change it in the DLC, but
Really?
Yeah,
but that's like they said it's like Persona 3 and Persona 4 music. Is that the deal?
Well, so I think it was each DLC it switched up. Maybe not all of them, but most of the DLC switched up the battle music and the end screen music. So, and I mean, it wasn't like a huge thing. Like, it would still be playing the same track. So all you had to do was have the protagonist equip or be wearing the costume the DLC was part of to trigger that. So it was okay. It still kind of got monotonous, so it would have been nice to have some more variety, but it did help.
Yeah, it's still a fucking great song, and I want to say I'll never get tired of listening it, but I still wish that Atlas put in some more songs for their battle themes. And then there's also the dungeon crawling, which was a monumental, vast improvement from the previous games. Fucking Persona 3, you just climbed up a fucking random generated room tower.
Yeah.
Persona 4 improved on that. I guess when you look back on it before Persona 5 came out, it was a pretty significant improvement. Not only were there fewer floors to battle through, but each dungeon was different. Because, like, you had Yukiko's palace, Kanji's steam house, Risei's striptease. And they were all.
That's literally what it's called.
Yeah, it's literally what it's called. And I mean, the dungeons in themselves, I mean, they're pretty similar. You just run around, but at least like the art in the background and stuff like that is different, so it doesn't feel like you're seeing the same shit over and over again. So that helped. Yeah, so that helped. That helped. But then Persona 5 comes along, and it just fucking blows Persona 4 out of the water in that regard. You have palaces, and floors are pretty much fucking gone, pretty much. It's no longer... I'm not sure if you can even call it dungeon crawling at that point. You're just given an environment, and you just go loose and until you find the treasure room. And it's fucking amazing. You have what? You enter Kamoshida's castle and just navigate this massive building. And each palace, like, not only is it no longer, okay, here's the start of a floor, battle your way until you reach the stairs. They added a stealth mechanic. They added puzzles, and it just felt like you were going through an actual interesting design structure rather than just a bunch of floors in succession.
Yeah. I'm just remembering in Persona 5, whenever you finish a battle, how your character
you run around in
circles.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, the post-battle transition is actually really fluid, because it would usually, just end up, showing you the stuff that you got, but then transitioning you right back into just the regular, the dungeon. So Persona 5 was really good about that.
Yeah.
I've got a question. Okay,
yeah. What were you saying, Chris?
I was gonna say, what do you guys think of the mascots in each of the games?
Ooh, okay.
Okay, that's a good question. So, in Persona 3, it was the dog, right?
No, it was Igus. I mean, come on.
Just wanted to be sure. Okay, so yeah, the dog, I forget his name. Koromaru?
I mean, I guess that game had two mascot characters.
Igus and the dog?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Igus is a mascot character just because of how different she is.
She's fucking beautiful, man!
I'm just saying.
Yeah, okay, true. Persona 4, you had Teddy.
Yep.
And Persona 4, you had Morgana.
Go to fucking sleep. Go to sleep.
Okay. So, for the uninitiated, if you just... sometimes when you just want to do something, like there's nothing else that you would be doing, you just, I don't know, you just had a cutscene in which the story progressed, and you're like, okay, I can go advance a social stat or something like that. I could meet someone and level up my confidant. And Morgana's like, nope, you're too tired. Go the fuck to sleep.
It's almost like they did it almost just to keep you from gaining too much XP by the end of the game.
That's exactly why they did it in my mind. Because if they didn't have that, you could probably have like 2 months free. when the game ended.
Max at
He
your
must have
HP.
doing absolutely nothing. I mean, you could probably do the rest of the time just working out in your room and at the gym. And fucking Acura would just be this giant, muscle-bounded Rambo monster. He probably wouldn't even need a persona at that point.
Yeah.
He would just beat the shadows by himself. But while that was really annoying at first, I kind of got over it. And I like Morgana. He's a cute little shithead.
He's not as annoying as Teddy.
Teddy was pretty annoying.
You can say it was unbearable at times.
Oh my god. Oh, the bear joke. Like, it's funny the first couple times, but then you're like, oh, why?
I don't want to be associated with this bear.
Okay, so it seems pretty clear that we appreciate Teddy the least out of the mascots. Thing is, I can't really say much about the dog in Persona 3. I mean, I never used him in battle.
But he was
You're a terrible
innocuous.
person.
Wait, what?
He was adorable, though. Like, you know, he didn't get in the way. He didn't get in the way.
He was not a liability. He was a good dog. That's literally it. He was a good dog. He was a good doggo.
Orf.
Orf. Okay, so I guess we can... What? So we're pretty much in agreement that we like Morgana the most, then the dog is in the middle, then Teddy is shit tier trash waifu. Is that how we feel?
More or less.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But then in Persona 5, you have... they replace, Mona later in the game. Once you get Futaba.
Wait, for the navigating thing?
Well, when you know how during the first half of the game, he's the one doing all of the comments during battle.
Yeah. That's
and
true.
then it gets replaced with Bonafide.
Yeah. Okay, that's what you were talking about.
I think Mona's still the mascot character, though.
Well, yes, but I'm just talking about, the in-combat dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes you wish that they came up with more lines.
Definitely.
For each action. Yeah, that's as much as we love Persona 5, that's definitely something that could have been improved on. There's actually a lot of things in Persona 5 that could have been improved on, but they're like super minor. Probably the most aired grievance is how tiny of a role the romance plays in the Persona games.
Yeah.
I mean, because romance isn't really the focus in the Persona games, but it was just something the Persona fans really, really enjoy because all the Persona games have top tier waifus, and everyone obviously, and everyone wants to have quality time with the Persona waifus, and like it just basically what the deal is that like in Persona 5 you have confidants, and if you when you reach a certain rank with a female confidant, you can pretty much decide, okay, do you want to fuck, or do you want to be like, we'll stay friends, and then so pretty much once you get to the okay, we're gonna fuck status, it's pretty much self-contained within the social link, because once you reach there, once you reach your destination, that's fucking it. That's it. There's nothing else to look forward to besides going on additional pointless ass dates with your Persona 5 waifu. there's like no point once you reach the goal. There's nothing left, and the characters, your fellow party members, they don't acknowledge it within the overall story as well. I mean, like, okay, there's like one time when like later in the game someone asks you whether you plan to get married or something like that, and depending on how you answer, the person you're dating will be like they would blush, and that's pretty funny. But that just kind of teased the player how much of how Atlas could have involved the romance a bit more. Just something minor about I don't know, just writing in, oh, you're dating just something that would make your party members recognize that you were dating someone, because in the overall story, you might as well be the most beta SJW blue pill cuck out there.
Wow.
So yeah, that's one thing I wish Atlas would put in a little bit more effort in.
I mean, it's difficult, right? Because it isn't the focus of the game, but yet half the game is a social sim. So it's like, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like 5, it led up to the romance, and then like as soon as you started going out with somebody, that was basically the end of it.
Yeah,
So,
and it didn't. As much as I pedestalize Makoto, it wasn't really that fulfilling. I was like, the moments with her are adorable as hell, but once I reach rank 10 with her, I'm like, I want more, man. I just want more.
He realized that he needs the harem route. That's what he realized.
I can't do that, man. I can't do that. That's just not the person I am. But yeah. What else could Persona 5 have improved on? So like we talked about. So we pretty much agree that Persona 5 is superior in terms of the combat. I mean, it gets a lot more subjective when it gets to like the story and how Persona 5 executes its themes. That's when it gets a lot more subjective, in my opinion.
yeah.
Because like a lot of people will say that Persona 3 is like the best in terms of story and theme execution. I think Stash is one of those people.
I would say it's probably better than 5, in my personal opinion.
Because like the whole deal with Persona 3 is death, memento mori. Remember that you will die.
Yeah, I mean, so again, it's really hard to compare them, but overall, like, Persona 3's story affected me way more than 5. Even though 5 was good.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way I'd put it from my experience is that I enjoyed Persona 5 the most, but didn't affect me as much as Persona 4 did. That's how I would describe it. It might sound a little weird, but a lot of that has to do with the characters in Persona 4 and Persona 5, because in my mind, on their own, if you look at each individual character, I think the Persona 5 characters are superior. They're more interesting. I think there's more to them in how they're written. But when you look at all the characters and you look at them as like a unit, as a group, like the investigation team versus the Phantom Thieves, I'll take the investigation team like 9 times out of 10 because of how well the game felt like you were a group of friends pushing toward the truth. Whereas like Persona 5, yeah, the characters are awesome, but it was kind of harder harder to relate to that kind of thing.
I mean, I would say that, like, if I were to put, like, what you're describing into, like, I don't know, sort of a concept, I would say that, like, in Persona 5, all of the individual character development happened during the Confidant links, or basically 90% of it.
Yeah.
And in Persona 4, there was a lot of personal character development in the group scenes. So, you know, like the whole thing about, you know, the whole thing about Kanji possibly being gay, or how Naoto was actually a girl. You know, like, all that stuff happened in the group stuff, as opposed to, like, having it just be a social link thing. So I feel like that was a big difference.
Let's see. Fucking, man, this just reminds me of how I have to go back and play all the Persona games. Because I'm just trying to recall all these different instances, but I'm like, shit, I can't remember it because it's been months since I played my New Game Plus run of Persona 5. It's been a fucking year since I played Persona 4. Wait, actually, no, it was a bit more. There's a bit more months that I last played Persona 4, and then it was quite a bit of time since I played Persona 3. So I'm just like, I can't remember.
Pretty much.
It's not fresh. Yeah, it's not fresh in my mind, and this podcast is a mistake.
Wow, you're realizing that now?
Yeah, we held out as long as we could.
Nice try, though.
But okay, so like about Persona 5's themes, like I personally like I like Persona 5's idea of freedom and rebellion the most out of the three, because like as intense as Persona 3 was with the whole concept of death, it's not like I wake up every day, or like, I don't know, it's not like I think about death. Like, I don't really think about death at all. It's not really the most applicable idea that you can send out as a message, as a work of art, even though it's beautiful in its own way. Persona 4, its whole theme was about friendship, and I love that theme, but it's I kind of want to say that, like, it does it super well, but again, it's not really that inspirational, or not. It's more applicable than like the whole concept of death, but it's not. But it's all shit that we already know. Whereas for me, the whole theme of rebellion and freedom and how the story of Persona 5 is set up, it's like, you know, in the opening theme song, it's like, wake up, get out there, and it just makes you feel like if you can get out there and make a difference in the world. And I love that shit, and that's exactly what the Phantom Thieves did. And I really enjoyed that, and that's that theme and the story in that story that really struck a chord with me in that way, even though the characters weren't on the same level as Persona 4.
I've got to say, in Persona 5, the idea of stealing hearts is pretty compelling.
Yeah, and how you send out a calling card.
It just feels so great when you send that calling card out.
Yeah, and then into the palace, and then what's the I can't remember the name of the track. It's not Last Surprise. It's
you're probably thinking of The Life Will Change.
Yeah, Life Will Change. Yeah, then Life Will Change. Life Will Change comes on when you enter the palace, and you're just jerking your head to the beat, and it's so great.
It gets even better when you get to the end of the game and you get Rivers in the Desert.
Oh, Rivers in the Desert. Yeah.
The
boss battle when you face Shido, and first it's the instrumental version, and then he has his final form, and then Rivers in the Desert plays again, but then Lynn comes in with her amazing vocals, and it just changes the song entirely, and it's like a million times better.
Yep.
It's so good. So good.
Speaking of that, okay, so I have a question for you guys in a second.
Yeah.
But my favorite boss battle, Persona 5, had to be the twins.
Yeah.
Partially
The
because
twins.
Rivers in the Desert, but also because, holy shit, they can do baton passes as well. And it was amazing.
It was amazing. When they did a baton pass and they did an all-out attack, I kind of freaked out. I kind of had to just pause the game.
It was awesome.
You guys
for
are
those-
making me want to do a new game plus right now.
Dude, it's super worth it. But a lot of that also has to do with how much I enjoyed the twin characters. I really enjoyed them a lot.
They were pretty great. What would you guys say is your favorite boss battle from Persona 5?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll say that the twins are my favorite, but for the sake of saying something different, the Okamura boss battle is pretty great with how you're able. It was a baton pass factory that was extremely satisfying, but the other good one that I really enjoyed was Madarame's boss battle, where you had to take down the individual parts of his body, and each body part could do a different type of attack. And I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a really well put together boss battle.
Yeah. I enjoyed Madarame's Palace as well. Can't really say what my favorite would be. They were all pretty enjoyable, honestly. The one with Futaba was pretty interesting too.
Oh, and you take down her mother.
Yeah, and it's like
that.
you were like, "Is this the boss?" And it's like, "Nope, that's not the actual boss."
Yeah, that was really cool as well. The as hype as the Shido one was, it wasn't as interesting on a technical level as some of the other boss battles, but it was just so satisfying to just take down the asshole who literally ruined your life. That was extremely satisfying.
Shadow Kaneshiro is interesting as well.
That was the one with the giant robot, right?
Yeah, the giant pig.
Yeah. I like the music in his palace. I thought that was pretty cool.
When he first turns into the fly and all of his minions or whatever you want to call them just freak out and run away, and then you fight him and he's just like really weak. You're like, what is this? And then he gets into the giant pig. You're like, now is when the boss battle actually starts.
Yeah.
And he
yeah. Go ahead.
regresses into like kind of a country accent. Like he calls the thing a Piggytron. It's pretty good.
Piggytron, yeah. Shit, I was just Sai's boss battle was really interesting as well, with how you had to the whole roulette deal. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. I wish they had used it a bit more though.
Yeah.
Well, the roulette part before she transforms.
Shit, I was gonna say something else.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So like,
I understand it's like 4 a.m. right now for you, so.
Yeah, you're probably getting tired.
Yeah. So each of the Persona soundtracks are brilliant. Shoji Meguro is a god, but which ending song is your favorite out of 3?
Oof.
In Persona 3, it's like Sonochi no
Kimi no Kyoku.
Kimi no Kyoku, yeah.
which is Memories of You.
Memories of You. Persona 4 was Nevermore. And I don't know the name Persona 5. Persona 5's
Something,
ending.
I think it has stars in it or something.
With the Stars and Us.
With the
Yeah.
Stars and Us. Yeah, With the Stars and Us, that's the one. Which one, what would you guys say, how would you rank those?
I think, honestly, I kind of like the soundtrack for 5 completely and utterly. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never heard the one for the third game, but yeah, I'd put 5 ahead of 4.
I would
go
say
ahead.
that 3 definitely takes the cake for me. I mean, every time I hear that song, I kind of I tear up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, like
It's a very good song, yeah.
and I would say after 3, I'd probably put 4 because I also really like that. And I mean, I love the OST for 5, but the ending song didn't really matter to me that much, I guess. You know, it didn't hold as much weight for me. Like the
Yeah.
rest of the OST, I love, but yeah.
Yeah. Shit. For me, shit. I want to say that I kind of like them all equally, but for different reasons. Because Persona 4, the ending's theme song just hits you in the feels like a train. Literally, when you're going away on the train.
It is
But,
very emotional.
Yeah. Persona 3, I think it's a particularly well composed track. Also, it also hits you hard in the feels. Persona 5, I think I also like it because when I was listening to it, it just kind of satisfied this little itch I had for the type of heavy rock that it has in between. Like it starts like soft and subdued and just goes into this epic, aggressive rock ballad, and I love it.
Yeah.
And Lynn's vocals really shine in that song, I have to say. So I like them all. I really like them all for different reasons.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. And for the soundtracks overall, I'd probably say I like Persona 5 the most because it's all based around this genre of acid jazz and rock. And I can't think of a song that I don't like, and it just gets your foot tapping, and it's so funky.
Yeah, I mean, I love all of them, honestly.
Yeah. That goes without saying, honestly. Yeah, they're all brilliant.
Like when you get the 10th confident rating with one of your teammates in 5.
Swear to my bones.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
Probably
that's a
one
very
of my
good track.
favorite tracks.
Yeah. Also, I love the music that plays when your party members awaken to their new persona. That honestly, the persona awakenings are like some of the best parts of the whole damn game for me.
Yeah, those moments are great.
Yeah.
Especially Makoto.
Yes, she has like the best one. Yusuke's is also really good, but it's also interesting how like in Persona 5 when they awaken their persona, they embrace this. They immediately embrace this power given to them. They're like, all right, let's fucking do this. Whereas like in Persona 4, they're like,
That's not me. Yeah.
Yusuke has to piss himself a couple of times, It's
That game
par
would
for the
have been so
course.
much easier had they just, accepted themselves immediately.
No, don't say it. You're not me. Yeah, not gonna lie, it gets pretty comical at points.
Like, nobody says anything. No,
I know.
It would be so easy just to say, yeah, no, don't do that. Just accept it. We won't have to go through this giant boss battle where we'll all probably die.
A couple of times before actually succeeding.
Yeah.
Another thing that I think Persona 4 does really, really well is the whole concept of, I don't know how to pronounce this right, the whole concept of Jungian psychology.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because like the whole, it really hammers home the idea of shadows and personas really well, because they directly affected how your party members get their personas. Like, because each character has their own shit and inner demons going on, and when they join your party and gain their personas, when they accept their inner demons, they stop lying to themselves, and they start being true to themselves, that this is who I am, all the good parts and the bad parts. And they did that really, really well in Persona 4, whereas in the other games, it didn't really show up at all, if ever.
I mean, it came across a couple of times. Like, in Persona 3, there was the whole deal about, like, I'm forgetting their names, but it was Strega, the group of kids who unnaturally awakened to their persona powers.
Oh yeah, those assholes.
Yeah, the assholes. But, like, their personas, like, wanted to kill them because they hadn't mastered it. They didn't awaken to them.
Mm.
So, and I think all the games really capture the essence of the collective unconscious in a really unique way. And I mean, before the Persona games, I didn't really know anything about Jungian psychology.
Yeah.
So it's cool to learn about that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the final area in Persona 5, when you're going around, it's just a jail.
Yeah.
Everyone's just like, no, we want to stay in here. We don't want to.
I know, like, they immediately lost their resolve. Like, dying's fine. Like,
Mementos, though, was kind of shit, though. I'm not gonna lie. The enemies were just way too weak to make anything worthwhile. If the enemies are, like, just as strong, or maybe slightly weaker than what you'd encounter in the story at that same point in time, that would be fucking great. But just none of the battles in Mementos were worth fighting. You would only go in there to fulfill the requests and, like, find some materials.
It feels like they meant for it to be more than it ended up being.
Yeah, I mean, it plays its role at the end with the whole deal of the collective unconscious, which is an extremely cool concept. But go through Mementos in, like, the mid game was a little disappointing.
If you think about it, did you even have to touch Mementos except for, like, more than 2 or 3 times? Like, you know how you got those requests.
Right.
It's not like we had to do those, though.
What was that?
Right? It's not like we had to do those requests, though, right?
Yeah, I'm not really sure, honestly. I feel like you could have just not done them.
I think you only had to do, like, 2 or 3 because of Mashima's confidant.
Oh, yeah, right.
But then after that, it just kind of goes on autopilot.
I mean, they kind of hyped it up to the point where, like, you'd have to purposefully, say, okay, I'm not going to Mementos ever. Like, it was difficult to avoid it, I guess. Like, if you're playing the game normally, you're going to go into Mementos.
Yeah.
But, like, if you purposefully didn't, I don't even know if you could get the true end. Like, I wonder if it would even unlock, if it would be an option, because if you didn't explore Mementos, then it's like, you're not invested in it, I guess.
I think the only thing that really made Mementos even fun was the dialogue that they would have.
Oh
Well,
yeah, I
yeah,
love
that's
driving
right.
around and hearing them talk.
But then when you would reach a door, they would stop talking, and that pissed me off so much.
Because like you're racing through mementos, like I want to be done with this, but then they start talking, and you're like, oh no, okay,
Yeah,
I can't go
yeah.
Sit
anywhere.
here.
Okay, so who are your favorite Persona characters?
The main characters or all of them in general?
Oh, actually, that's a very good question too. Okay, so who are your favorite protagonists?
Well,
Persona 5.
Goro's Robin Hood is kind of cool. It sticks out like a sore thumb amongst the rest of them, though.
Yeah.
What about you, Stasha?
Well, are we comparing MCs or just general characters?
Well, I mean, the MCs are pretty much self-inserts.
Yeah.
So there's not really much you can say about them.
Favorite character then? You know, it's hard to say. I mean, across all the games, there have been a lot of good ones.
I mean, it's not like you have to have a definitive one. You can list off some that you enjoy particularly.
Well, all right. So from 3, I liked Mitsuru. I thought,
She's your Persona 3 waifu, right?
yeah, she was the Persona 3 waifu. But even then, I liked Akihiko. Junpei was just an asshole.
I'm pretty sure everyone loves Akihiko, honestly.
Yeah, he was pretty great. But
he's just the cool senpai that everyone looks up to.
From 4, I would say, and actually no, I will say that my favorite MC in all the Persona games was the female protagonist from Portable Game.
Oh, really?
I will say that because
So
she
you
had
finished?
like, I didn't finish it, but she had like a definitive character. It felt like much more so than any of the others that I.
Oh, okay.
So that was interesting. But
yeah, that's really interesting.
definitely worth a playthrough. Maybe for your next P3 run through. But yeah, in terms of general characters, like I love the Kanji from Persona 4.
Yeah.
Pretty great. And Yusuke from 5, I suppose. I mean, there are others. I like most of them, but those are probably my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to agree with Kanji, Yusuke, Akihiko. Kanji and Yusuke are like the two standout dudes in their in their games.
It's true.
They're both kind of the oddballs.
Yeah.
Of the group, with Kanji being his outspoken yet the heavily implied homosexuality,
which is never confirmed or denied.
Which is never confirmed or denied, and it's hilarious. There's also suspicion that Yusuke is gay as well, with how he rejects, with how he says that he only appreciates on as like an art piece or something like that.
Yeah.
Though,
yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, I can see it too, but they're both the oddballs in their games, and they're loved for it. Let's see, what else is there?
I know a lot of the Second Awakenings in Persona 5 you guys didn't like that much.
Oh god, I hated the Personas.
That's so true. I totally forgot about those. Yeah, they were so bad. I totally forgot about them.
Like every time someone would awaken, you're like, "Oh, it's gonna be a cool new Persona," and they just all suck.
The first one I leveled up was Ryuji, and I was like, "All right, you have a fucking pirate surfing on a battleship. the next one is going to be fucking amazing. It was such a huge letdown.
I don't even remember what it looked like. It was just disappointing.
It looks like some kind of trash skater riding a cloud. It's Japanese Tony Hawk riding a cloud or something.
I liked Fudaba's second persona. It was,
Hers is okay. I like the sphere. But
fucking
protagonist was epic.
okay, yeah. His was epic.
although I really like Arsene.
Yeah,
Arsene, you fucking pleb.
I think it's so funny that they make him come back after Sai's palace, like at the very end. Like, I know that's part of the whole staging of the beginning of the game, but it's like you haven't seen this persona in like probably 5-6 in-game months, and then he's all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I'm back! Don't forget about me." It's like Arsene, I fused you with somebody else like eons ago, so you're not there anymore.
Kind of want to play through a New Game Plus using him completely, and
I thought
ignore
about
all the
that
other
as well.
personas.
I thought about that as well. So, who are our Persona 5 waifus? Stasha went the Kawakami way. I went the Makoto way, which is the one true way. I'm sorry that these other two are deluded. Chris, who did you pick?
I went with Futaba. I know.
Not gonna lie, I considered Futaba a lot because she's hilarious.
Yeah, she is pretty funny.
It's really funny, and plus her, I really like her social link story as well. When you try and help her out with her social anxiety and how she's trying to branch out and stop being like a hikikomori piece of shit. I thought that was a really compelling character arc for her.
Yeah, it's, and then there's the section where you help her friend out.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well,
I think
it looks like we're not going to fight to the death on that one.
Not gonna. Maybe if it's not 4 a.m. 4 a.m. If it was, I don't know, 12. If it was 12 hours earlier, I would just be building my case on how you are all fucking wrong, and how Makoto is the ultimate waifu. But I kind of say that jokingly. It's like half jokingly, half serious, because not gonna lie, all the girls in Persona are great in their own way.
Don't lie to yourself, Kevin. You're completely serious about that.
What? I completely understand anyone who decides to have someone as their waifu.
Who decides to have the wrong opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
They're entitled to it.
Your waifu is fine as long as it's Makoto.
Oh, man. Yeah, we had like waifus as like a potential topic to talk about on another podcast. So.
Yeah, we should dig into that, like in terms of like across all shows and whatnot.
Yeah, true.
At some point.
I remember one time, I don't know when, but I actually asked seriously to you guys, what's a waifu? And then Chris just laughed.
Kevin, let's not forget that there are a lot of terms that we had to teach you.
I was such an innocent kid back in the day.
What's a Luthkalu?
Oh my goodness. That's legit meme.
Yeah.
in
At
this
this point.
chat.
And you never learned what a loose glue was.
Does anyone know? Seriously. Okay. I think that will do it with this episode. If I do say so for myself.
I think we can keep it going for another 12 hours.
Well, Audacity is telling me that I have 15 hours worth of audio to fill up.
Is that it? Mine says I have like 45 hours left.
Well, I only have like 20 gigs
Really?
left of it.
Wait. It says for me disk space remains for recording 120 hours and 21 minutes.
Jeez. We're never going to get that far.
I'm not sure
We'd
why.
die before we got that far.
Yeah, that way we can actually meet our waifus. All right.
Well, cool.
Shall we?
To our non-existent audience, thank you for listening to episode 0 of this wonderful
the Fools
podcast.
to World podcast. Yep.
Our next topic is currently undecided, but it'll be something hopefully interesting.
And hopefully it will go better than this one.
Yeah, we're sorry about this. We understand.
Next time we're gonna have to have a general outline of how we're gonna talk about our topic, because this could have gone a lot smoother. I mean, we did go through a bunch of points, but it could have went a lot smoother if we had I don't know, a plan for the beginning. Like, after we talk about this subtopic, let's move on to this one.
Agreed.
Stuff like that.
We did a lot of jumping around to different stuff.
Yeah. All right.
It would also help if I had actually played the first game and a half.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely revisit Persona in the future once if decides to join.
Oh, we gotta bleep out his name now.
Hey. He has his reasons. Whatever. All right.
Cool.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next one.